would be walking around like I was Effie off Skins and like literally nowhere close. Like everyone who was happy on the outside, I was like, they're fake. They are so fake. I just used to feel miserable all the time. Summer Walker, Sad Girl Season, that kind of vibe. You know the songs that I'm on about. And when I was in my Skins era, I was also in my depressed era. I didn't know that there was ways to kind of get out of the sadness and the melancholy that I was feeling like my whole childhood and teenage years. I just thought that was life. So I was thinking the other day about sad girl culture and how much of a big thing that is. Like I didn't realise that was a thing until I want to say like last year, but obviously it's always been a thing. Now it's just got a name, like the whole that girl trend, clean girl trend, sad girl trend, and it's out. I'm gonna say it's out. I don't like the whole vibe of it anymore. I feel like it just doesn't resonate anymore. And I know that's not just me. I know that other people will be feeling the same kind of way. Sorry if I'm sat really awkward as well, but like I literally don't know where to sit on the floor. Anyway, I officially resign as a certified sad girl. I'm not doing it to myself anymore. It is not worth it. It's really not worth it. Of course, it served a purpose for a moment, but it's just not serving anymore, and I don't think it should be serving anyone, really. I think the generation that we've grown up in, if you're like around the same age as me, it's been very much romanticized to feel really sad and really embody all of your emotions. As much as like, yeah, that's good. It's good to feel our emotions. I'm not saying that we don't need to feel our emotions, but we don't need to embody them as much as we do. And I know that we're all guilty of this. I know that all of you are guilty of this. There has been a point in your life where you have really just dwelled on your sadness and you've really just embodied it and became that sadness. You made that your identity. And I've been there. I've done it before. I'm just here to say that it's not as glamorous and as romantic as it seems on social media. I grew up in an era of Skins. I don't know if you've heard of that if you don't live in the UK, but Skins is basically like the UK version of the current day Euphoria. It's all about teenage drama, trauma, drugs, alcohol, sex, you name it, it's in Skins. And I'm not gonna lie, like that really impacted me as a teen, and I didn't think that it did. Obviously, I must have known that it was changing the way that I thought about things and how I dealt with my sadness. But all I can say is that I'm glad that I didn't watch that at a younger and more influential age. I think I watched Skins at I think I was maybe like 16, 17 when I watched Skins, and it came out way before then. Like I think it came out in like 2010 or something. So yeah, I started watching it like way later, which is great. I'm so glad that I did that. But I know for a fact that when I was in my Skins era, I was also in my depressed era, and it's not a vibe. It's really not a vibe to be romanticizing mental illness and trauma and drug abuse and alcohol abuse, all these kind of different things, addictions, especially in like teenagers as well, because it's all well and good like watching, I used to watch Coronation Street as a child, and obviously all the shit's kicking off in there, like everything is happening. There's like a bus going through your house every other week, and there's just always stuff going on. I feel like when you're a kid and you're watching adults on a soap opera, you can't relate to that. Like you're not really thinking, oh yeah, I'm really scared of a bus coming through my house, even though I low-key kind of was. I used to be a very worried individual. Yeah, when you're watching something on people who are your age and people who look like you and live in the same country as you, and they're going through like addictions and eating disorders, taking loads of psychedelic drugs, it kind of, if you're not in that place, if you're not going through trauma like that, but you're watching these things, but you are still kind of going through a little bit of trauma, like things that you might not be able to identify, you're probably going to start looking at that and being like, oh, this is how to deal with my emotions. Even if you don't do any of the things that they do, just romanticizing it in your head and just kind of getting all emotional and sitting in your room and getting all angsty. I don't know. I think at a specific target audience, that kind of content is so harmful. And don't get me wrong, I do love Skins. Like I still love Skins because that is what I watched when I was like 16, 17. I thought it was really cool. But I remember, like, I've always been a very strong-minded individual. Like, I've always been very stubborn. In school, I never really, I don't know, like, all of my friends were like doing drugs and smoking and things like that and like having sex. And I was just sort of like, I don't know. I literally don't know what was wrong with me. Like, obviously there's nothing wrong with me, but like at the time I was thinking, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I not interested in going to the back of the field and smoking? I just wasn't interested in that kind of stuff. And like, I would always get presented with opportunities like that, but I've always been very strong-minded. I'd just be like, no, thank you. I literally don't know why, because given my circumstances, like, you would have thought that I would be like going to that crowd, but God had other plans. Anyway, so I always used to be like really strong-minded, but then I remember like I kind of felt a little bit lost and a little bit like I don't really know who I am. Like, I've just spent my whole school life studying and not really doing much. Didn't really have a social life in school. And then when I got to college, I was thinking, I literally don't have a social life. So like, I used to watch Skins and I'd be thinking, oh my God, this is so cool. These people are so cool. And I used to almost embody the things that I would see on Skins, like just like the character traits, like the sad girl character traits. So I would be walking around like I was Effie off Skins and like literally nowhere close, like could not be further from the truth. However, I get it now, because it's like I didn't really have anyone. I obviously experienced my own forms of trauma, albeit it wasn't like what I was seeing on Skins, but I did experience trauma, like a lot of emotional trauma as a child, and a lot of that when unprocessed and like undealt with. I didn't really know how to manage my emotions, I guess. I did to a certain extent, but like not properly. Like I didn't know that there was ways to kind of get out of the sadness and the melancholy that I was feeling like my whole childhood and teenage years. I just thought that was life. So when I would watch Skins and I would see all these people, like they'd be going out and they'd be like numbing their mind by drinking loads of alcohol and doing loads of drugs and things like that, I remember thinking like, wow, this looks cool. I feel like I could get on board with that. I feel like I would want to try. And that's so crazy, because I never ever had any interest in drugs of any kind up until that point. It's crazy. It is literally crazy. And it's the same with like Euphoria now for the teens these days, or if there's anything else. I don't know if there's anything else. I don't really keep up with that kind of thing, but it's the same sort of thing. Like I remember when Euphoria came out and then I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch this again. Well, watch this for the first time. And I watched it and I was watching it, I was thinking, yeah, this is really good. But it like triggered something in my brain. It took me back to that place of feeling like I was that 16-year-old girl who didn't know who she was or what she wanted to do with her life or how to deal with her emotions. So I would just be like this sad girl vibe, and it like took me back to that, and I thought, I don't like this feeling, and I stopped. I literally stopped watching it, because by then I'd done a fair amount of shadow work and stuff like that, so I just left it at that. So yeah, I've never finished Euphoria, even though it's quite sad because it was good, but it was just too confronting for me at that point to watch it. I really want you to know, and obviously there's a lot of information out there now. There wasn't really information out there when I was that age, but like just knowing that you don't have to be a sad girl, you don't have to embody all of these sad emotions. And if you're like how I was, thought that literally no one could be happy, like no one was happy. Everyone who was happy on the outside, I was like, they're fake, they are so fake. I just used to feel miserable all the time because I was thinking, I'm not going to force how I feel, hence the whole Effie stage, even though I don't think it portrayed to others. I think that was genuinely in my head, but it really like shifted my brain chemistry a little bit. It altered it, and in a way where I just looked at the world differently, and I was just very depressed. But that is the effect that this sad girl mentality has on you. Even if you're not going through that certain thing, I know that you're all guilty of listening to Summer Walker or SZA, maybe not all of you, but like listening to SZA, Summer Walker, going through your own, like maybe you've got a crush and you're like romanticizing that because you've got a crush but you don't have anything to do with them, so you're like dreaming about that, but then you're mourning over that even though you don't know them. Or maybe you're actually going through a heartbreak and your first things to think of is to put on a depressing playlist. Not depressing, but well, yeah, depressing, but you know, like Summer Walker, Sad Girl Season, that kind of vibe. You know the songs that I'm on about. And as much as it feels soothing in that moment. It's just, I don't know, I don't feel like it can do any good for anyone. And I know that everyone's different and everyone has their own different life experiences and perspectives that lead them up to this moment. And I do also recognize that there are people who are quite mentally strong, so they can listen to things like that and not really be affected by it. But if you're an empath like myself, you will know that certain things, it might not affect us initially, but then over time, the more and more we do it, the more and more it gets us down. And then it's like all of a sudden we're so depressed and we literally don't know why we're depressed. That melancholic feeling where you don't know what's wrong with you, but you know you're sad, but you don't know why. Like, you don't have a specific reason of something that happened in that moment that is making you sad, and it's probably because of all of the time built up that you've been spending in bed listening to sad girl music and just romanticizing whatever issues you've got in your mind and your problems. I'm over it. I'm over the whole sad girl thing. I feel like the only way that you're gonna get out of a depression or out of a rut or feeling like shit is by doing positive things and like leaning into the most positive thing that you can do. And I know obviously it's so much easier said than done, and you would obviously rather self-soothe in the way that you're used to, but I think the first step is like recognizing that you don't need to be fueling, like adding fuel to the fire of your sadness by listening to these kind of songs, like especially when you're feeling down. And even when you're feeling happy and you're listening to these songs, I found I'll be in my car, I'll be happy, I'll be having a happy old day, and then I'll be thinking, oh, I feel stable enough to listen to a bit of SZA or Summer Walker. I keep saying SZA and Summer Walker, but there's more. There's like so many more. Even like Daniel Caesar and Frank Ocean. They get me in my feels. It's just not worth it. I really value my peace more than I value these types of songs. Now, don't get me wrong. There is definitely a time and a place for songs like this. Like, say, for example, if you just feel like you need to cry, but you can't cry, go for it. Like, sometimes we do just need a little bit of assistance, but it's kind of like monitoring how much of that kind of content that you're going to take in and not like making it become your whole personality and embodying it. Yeah, I think that's like the general gist of what I'm trying to say, to be honest. I'm just like free flowing here, but like, it just got me thinking, like when I was thinking about SZA's album coming out, well, not coming out, it came out in December, I think. Yeah. But SZA's album, I was so hyped for that album. I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is going to be amazing, because I was obsessed with Control back in the day. But then it came out and I was listening to it and I was thinking, this is depressing. Like, I don't think I can really relate to this anymore, and not even in a way that it's like pretentious and stuck up and like, oh, I'm better than that. It's really not, but I feel like the things that they talk about or sing about in the songs are so toxic. It just really reinforces that whole toxic mindset and reinforces these limiting beliefs that all men are trash and all men are toxic and no one's going to treat you right and everyone's going to break up with you and leave you heartbroken. I don't know about you, but that is not the narrative that I want on my own life, and that is the thing that I'm trying to work away from, not toward. I don't want that in my vicinity anymore. It's just something to think about, really. If you're like the type of girl who listens to this kind of music, but you find that you're so stuck and you're not getting where you want to be in life, and you're feeling just melancholic or depressed all the time, I think noticing these tiny little areas where you can make changes, you might not think it will have an effect on you, but honestly, like the moment I cut out that kind of music, I just felt so much better about my life. And it's crazy because I've had breakups where I've gone through, not breakups as such, like heartbreaks, I would say, because sometimes you can be heartbroken on a crush. You can be heartbroken on like a situationship, you know? It depends on your perception of the situation. But I've had those heartbreaks where I have just laid in bed and I've listened to sad girl music, and then I've gotten ready and gone out on a weekend partying and thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to post all these pictures on social media and make them jealous. But like, I realized back then that it just didn't feel good. It felt awful. And I was sad all the time. Like, I was in this constant cycle of feeling like I'm not good enough and feeling heartbroken and depressed. I wasn't getting out of it. And I was thinking, what is wrong with me? Like, I've actually got something wrong with me. But it wasn't until I I kind of got over those things, and then I got into another relationship, but that relationship ended, and it was like something clicked in my brain after this breakup where I thought, I'm gonna do this differently, because I know how I feel when I'm heartbroken, and I don't want to be stuck in that for the rest of my days, because that is truly how it felt. I spent longer being heartbroken about situationships than I did my previous ex, because I decided in that moment, like, I'm literally cutting out all music. I didn't listen to any music for like a week, but that is a long time for me. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I'm not gonna listen to music and just torture myself. I'm just gonna give myself some time to just breathe and do whatever I could possibly manage to do at that time, which was not a lot, to be honest. I felt like I didn't find joy in anything for quite a while, but I would just watch light-hearted, funny things on Netflix. I would watch Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek is amazing. I love Schitt's Creek. And I also introduced music back in gradually, but in the form of like really empowering music, like Beyonce. I remember my savior when I was heartbroken was the Beyonce Homecoming, what's it called? I think it was literally just called Homecoming, but it's basically like her Coachella performance. And oh my God, that literally re-sparked something in my soul where I was like, oh, amazing. I need to be Beyonce. Not be Beyonce, but do you know what I mean? I need to be like Beyonce and just be empowered and be feeling like a bad bitch, not like a sad bitch, you know? So yeah, I tell a lie, I did actually listen to music, but it was on that. It was on Beyonce Homecoming. Only because like it just made me feel better, and I was just doing anything that made me feel better in that moment and not dwelling. And basically my moral of the story is I really do go on rampages or rants, but the moral of the story is that I got over that breakup so much quicker than if I'd have done the things that I'd done before, and so much quicker than ex situations previous to that. I got over it so much quicker, and that breakup had the potential to literally break me and change my whole life trajectory, and it didn't. That was like one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And yeah, I do truly feel like it's from not basking in this sad girl energy and being like, yeah, I'm a sad girl. Like, no, I'm just over it. That's just me. I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share how I really just helped myself through depressive stages by not being a sad girl and not basking in it and not watching programs of teen dramas who don't really know how to regulate their emotions, or they're going through traumas and horrible things. No, just cutting out all that kind of stuff. Like, it will definitely be a stepping stone to changing your mindset on things when you're not constantly listening to these things. Even if you're not listening to it on a conscious level and taking in the words and listening to the words, your subconscious is going to take things that resonate with it and it's going to hold on to them, and it's going to take that as evidence that support your limiting beliefs and the things that you think about relationships and the things that you think about men. I don't know. The sad girl thing is just out for me. It's completely out. It is not a thing, and I don't think we should be bringing that into 2023. It's just not a vibe. It is not a vibe. But yeah, that was just a quick little rampage, a quick little conversational video, just something to think about. Let me know like if you feel the same way about like sad girl music and SZA's new album. Like, what do you think about SZA's new album? SZA's recent album, should I say? Because I've not really listened to it. Like, some of the songs sound good, but I'm just like, is it worth it? It's not worth it for me. But I'm an empath. But yes, comment down below and let me know what you think about it for sure. I'm really intrigued. I want to know if I'm the only one. I know that I won't be the only one thinking like this, but it just doesn't serve me anymore, especially now that I'm on the track to becoming the best version of myself. Like, I feel like I'm fully on that now. I can't explain it, but I feel a difference. I feel a change in the air, and I can't really put my finger on it, but I just know that I'm like, this is the time. This is like the right path I'm going down, and yeah, say no more, say no more. So I love you all so much. Subscribe. I don't say that. I've not said that in my last two videos, I don't think. My last two videos were like a couple of weeks. No, I think it was a couple of weeks since I last posted. Oh, but your girl's been through it. Like, my nose ring's gone. That's a whole story for another day. Like, I'm just gonna leave it there. Like, I'm not going through that. Yeah, my nose ring's gone. I've been going through a lot, but like not in a bad way. In like a awakening kind of way. Like, I've been tested a lot, but it's like, it's cool, it's fine. I don't mind that, because I don't know, I just feel like I'm in alignment and I feel like I'm on the right path. And if dogs are barking next door. Yeah, if tests come my way, then it is what it is. I just deal with them, and I just know that I'm on the right path. Yeah, It's been a lot, but I need to like get into the routine and the flow of it. I'm getting used to it and I'm not putting any pressure on it. I'm just gonna do it as it feels right. I don't want to force videos when I'm feeling like, I've literally just been on my period. Well, I'm on my period now. I've been in like my luteal phase, so I've not been feeling like filming or talking. I've just been doing shadow work, inner child healing and all that kind of stuff. I'm coming out of my period phase now and I'll be in my follicular phase and life will be great. I can concentrate fully on things and just put my all into this. So yeah, that is my excuses over and done with. I really hope the mic works in this video because there's a lot of noise going on and this is like noise cancelling, the background noises. There's like dogs that are left in the garden outside all day and night that bark and cry, and I thought that will annoy me when I'm editing. Yes, I'm gonna go because I'm talking a lot now. Thank you so much. Please subscribe if you want to. Leave comments. Let me know what you think. Much love.